wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby. And treat myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. Just treat your body and mind. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak my mind. Oh. Baby, you give me ice and fire.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Reptiles and Cocktails, episode 87. And today we have a loaded show for you. We're bringing on one of the coolest, chillest, most beautiful queens that we have in our reptile community. But what's most impressive about her as well is her positive energy, her connection to nature, and literally we've watched a hardcore vegan journey that she started, I want to say about 2 years ago, visibly anyway. Her journey could have started way before. We'll get more details as we bring her on. But I know about 2 or 3 years ago, we started to notice, and she announced that she was going on this journey. And it's been amazing to see. I remember, it's funny how you see yourself and how you see other people. I remember when she first said she was going vegan, and I'm like, she's perfect. Like, why? You know, you're perfect. And then you see this journey and you see just this overall health change. And, you know, we talked about it here before that, you know, I tried it and it was a short-term try. And I can't tell you how great I felt. Like, I felt so good. And then, of course, I backslid and got caught. And even there's some days, though, I can do a whole vegan diet. And then there's other days I don't. But I keep trying. Crabs are definitely a downfall for me. So I want to talk a little bit to her about like the discipline that it takes to actually do it 100%. Now, I can also say, I told you that everybody who goes vegan don't look healthy. So I want her to talk about what's the difference. What is it that she does that other people may not do in combination of a vegan diet that really makes her look just physically amazing. And she can talk about how she feels, because I can't tell y'all that. But I can tell you that it's been amazing to watch the journey. So before I bring on our guests, I just want to remind everybody that we will be vending the November show at Gettysburg. So it is a perfectly good time for you to order your animal, and we'll deliver it to you at Gettysburg. It is an amazing show, 125 plus vendors, and it is just a phenomenal show. It's probably for me, one of the best shows we have in this metropolitan area anyway. So yeah, come there, come hang out with us. if nothing else, bring your children, give them exposure to something new. They have a nice educational section there at Gettysburg that a lot of shows don't have. So, let your kids see what a big retic look like, or a berm look like, and, lizards, and just let them find different interests and see what they really like. So bring them on out. So, and then, so I don't forget, in case I forget the end of the show, we're pre-recording this live, so it's Friday, so we'll be doing Hair Down Friday shortly. But tomorrow will be Saturday when this ad. Do not forget to go and check out Wiz Constrictors, Sophisticated Ignorance, Saturday, 10:10 Central Standard Time. So great time, good time to learn a lot about genetics if you're interested in breeding, or if you're just interested in what animals you're keeping and having a good time with the people in the reptile community that is positive energy, no hate, no dismay. That's where you want to be. But we're going to bring on our guest and let her introduce herself. Hello.
Hello.
Actually recording, like I said, we're pre-recording live, but this is live now, this particular point. So introduce everybody to you the way you will want to be introduced.
I just say I'm Tinnie. Well, my name is Nefertiti. It's after the Egyptian goddess, but I go by Tinnie for short because no one ever knows how to pronounce my name or spell it right. So, but yeah, they just call me Tinnie, and like I said, I've been vegan for about 8 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, and then my transformation has been drastically within a few years.
Okay, definitely a drastic transformation, no doubt. That is definitely and for sure. So let's talk a little bit about before we get into that, because I think we're going to spend a lot of time on that, because I'm absolutely intrigued. I told you about my failure, so I want to talk about how to be successful and how you motivate other people to be successful. Now, one of the things that you said that I learned in setting this up is that you're a chef.
Yes.
So to be able to cook for yourself in a variety of ways is definitely a plus.
I used to, when I first started, used to cook so much.
Okay.
But now I think I've been going with the tune, the frequency of how everything is with the planet lately, and I haven't really been consuming as much cooked food. It's been mostly like nuts, fruits, and vegetables, and mushrooms from here and there, but it hasn't been a lot of forsaken like cooked food. Okay.
So before we get into that, just tell us, well, we met through the Bro group. Again, I share, regardless of what I feel, I have met some of the most amazing people, specifically women in that group, Black women specifically in that group. And like even now, like, a lot of them have become like sisters to me, and we still follow each other. We're very close. So that was definitely a blessing. I think that without being in that environment, I wouldn't have met so many of you, because a lot of you are not active on other platforms. So I am grateful for that. But you said that you started your vegan journey 8 years ago. Were you keeping reptiles back then?
I got my first reptile 7 years ago. So my big boy 11, my Inchi, I think that, yeah, my Inchi, he is, yeah, and I had him for 7 years. Dang, 7 years. It be going by so fast.
So what do you keep now? I know you have ball pythons.
I have 7 ball pythons. Yeah, my collection is
that many.
Yeah, my collection has grew. I have 7 ball pythons, 3 leopard geckos, 3 crested geckos, a white dumpy street frog, a bearded dragon, and a rabbit.
Okay, so the bearded dragon we are very familiar with. One of the things I loved about you before I knew who you were your roles in some of the videos. So one of the last videos, I think it was the happy video, and you're like going down the street dancing. It was one of the cutest parts. I remember saying like, oh my God, this is my favorite part, because it was really like a happy part of the song, and you just was in tune with it. How do you go about keeping those positive vibes? Like, how do you focus?
My motto has always been life is short.
Okay.
You need to smile through the pain. You can't let the little things bother you at the end of the day, because it's doesn't really matter. That's all distractions. So
Okay.
you just, you keep your energy positive through any and everything. That's
So
just how.
you do a lot of like the energy connection, like the moods. Like I think you do like the jewelry and things like
I'm
that.
a very empathetic person, so I pick up on emotions and energy very easily. I can cry at the drop of a dime or watching a movie. If I watch a movie that has too much, emotion going on, I got to go outside in nature, calm myself down, ground myself, because, it being like this only occurred when I went vegan.
Okay.
So it's amazing how much just changing your eating lifestyle can
Right.
affect so much else.
Right. Which you don't, I ain't gonna say you don't think about that, but food has a lot of control over how you feel mentally. Again, I say that about exercise too. Now, exercise is where it's easy for me. Like I love to exercise, but exercise and eating well has to go hand in hand, because what happens is, and
Most
I'll just tell from
definitely.
my experience, I'll work out, and let's say normally I'm a morning workout person, like to get it done and get it out the way. If I work out and like eat good, clean, good food, fruits, vegetables throughout the day, I can go to bed and sleep really, really good. And I was telling you that I had the hysterectomy, and a lot of people can't sleep after that. Like they don't have good sleep. You barely dream, believe it or not, after a hysterectomy. I don't know what that's about. It's rare that you even have a dream.
Well, I would say because as a woman, that is a womb, that's like all connection to our life, and those parts of your body are very vital, not just for reproduction, but for other purposes when it comes to spiritual, connections to things. So you taking that out can shift your consciousness now.
Well, I
So
do believe that, because you don't dream, and it's not just me. Like I dream probably more than other people.
mhm.
But a lot of people, because I'm in like groups, and they'll tell you like they don't have dreams anymore. Some people like it because depending on what you were dreaming or
Mhm.
thinking about unconsciously may not have been that great. But I used to like having dreams. They were normally interesting parts of my day. So I do agree with that. Now, in your journey, though, how much have you read about, or how much have you learned about what you eat and how it affects your whole body, from your mind to your
I
food?
have I really don't watch TV. I'm more of a research, do something that's active craft wise or outside involving with my animals or anything like that. So I've always been doing research ever since I started. What started this all was when my dad got sick, and to watch someone you love literally die a slow death,
Mhm.
and be told that there's nothing that they can do for you, but you've been seen by the doctors so many times and you never caught this cancer before, but yet when I go get my leg checked out, I'm at stage 4. So it kind of threw a lot of red flags for me with the whole how they did him. So it made me go deeper into what could have caused
Okay.
liver cancer and lung cancer. Then I start figuring out what you're putting in your body. Your body is just like a car. If we treat our bodies like we treat our cars, we'll be so much better off.
That's sad to say, right? But that's a true factor. Like, gotta have the oil change, gotta get the fluids flushed, gotta get the
You're gonna
time.
make sure you get to point A to point B, but you can't make sure you have a body so you can get to point A to point B.
So let's just go right there, because this is one of the things that come up. So let me tell you the two things that kind of made me avoid going full fledged. Not this time, because this time I just screwed up, y'all. I screwed up. I should have stayed on the road that I was on, and I'm working my way back there. So, two things though. The cost of eating healthy is so much more expensive than.
Now that it's only
Okay,
if
hold on
you
now.
are
Hold on now.
consuming the mock items. So like the fake cheese, the fake meats, the all the processed stuff. Processed, of course, is going to cost you more. But if you start growing, if you have access to grow your own, or have access to a farmer or food, marketplace, you can easily make plenty of meals out of whole foods and whole vegetables. Like there
I
should be no reason why people is ever hungry when a pack of beans and a pack of rice costs way less than a pack of meat.
So you just said a pack. Now beans, I can tell you, was a go-to during my 30 days. Beans, Thai rice. I actually love cucumbers. I love that's by themselves, like cucumbers and apple cider vinegar, for example. I just love them by themselves.
Man, my taste buds have transformed. I have never liked the tomatoes. You could not get me to eat a tomato at all, or even guacamole. I was like, guac, what is that? What is that green stuff? Now I'm like obsessed with guacamole, obsessed with tomatoes, anything healthy, even cucumbers. I never liked it, salads or cucumbers, but
Okay.
now I will eat them with no problem. But like I said, the more when you go through like healing and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
your body and your taste buds are going to change. So stuff that you used to think you didn't like, you just wasn't accepted to it because you were eating so much of the bad stuff.
Right. Right. So another challenge that I had was trying to figure out what to eat. So I got bored because I would go to eat so I can stay on. I would eat the same thing. So, dag it, if it was cucumbers, I'm gonna eat cucumbers for. I could bypass breakfast. Now, is that cool? Like, talk about that.
So I don't eat breakfast. I have learned and been digging down this rabbit hole that breakfast is you're not really supposed to consume because you're supposed to break a fast. And when you're eating so early, how are you breaking the fast? Words are very powerful. So you are supposed to eat accordingly to how the sun rises. So when the sun rises, that's when you're supposed to have your first meal. So
That's
that
what.
would be around like 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Then you don't want to eat anything past when the sun set, which is about 5, 6 o'clock. That should be your cutoff time because your body's supposed to it goes into digestive state, even when you're going to sleep. So if you're eating something heavy before you go to bed, you're doing nothing but making your body work so much harder. Like people fail to realize they're so tired and stuff. It's just because you're putting so much into your body, and your body has to work so hard to break down what you are just eating. So now you have no energy to do nothing else.
So, Tinnie, say this was your first 2 months that you started going vegan 8 years ago.
Hmm.
When you found yourself on a day that you wanted to backslide, what did you do in that moment? What was your go-to?
Um, if I felt like I had the urge, well, see, I used to eat like cook a lot of meat for my family and stuff like that. But eating wise, it was always the same stuff like chicken salad, fried chicken. Like it's only but so many ways you can cook these meats. So you fry them, baking them, boil them, grilling them. I mean, there's only but so many ways. So you get tired of it after a while. And I got tired of eating it. So I started slowly like kind of taking it away.
Okay.
But then when I felt myself wanting to go back to it, I would go to like like the black bean burgers. That's like in the beginning of my process, I did start off with the fake stuff because I thought, oh, okay, that that can maybe help me transition a little better, but didn't realize that it wasn't even that good
Got
according to like the bad stuff anyways. So then I started learning about how you can make your own stuff. I'm like, oh, what? You can make your own plant milk? What? You can make your own butter? Oh my! And then didn't realize is that I'm not, many ingredients, and it's less to buy your stuff and make it yourself, and you know what goes in it.
got you. Got you. So I would tell you that I don't like any of the processed meats, like the pasta, impossible burger, any of that stuff like that. I don't like. My go-to was definitely the Thai. I love apples. Like in the morning, I would like take a little bit of natural oils, and I would just kind of fry the apple type of thing. I love tomatoes on vegan bread. But is vegan bread good for you? Because that's technically processed too, right?
Technically, bread isn't healthy, but you got to look at, okay, you're trying to do better. So you can't beat yourself up at, not going full fledged. So
Right.
you're taking the steps. It's the journey of getting there. So you're taking your steps to get there. So if it means you transitioning from regular bread to vegan bread, you're taking an initiative. Eventually, you're not going to keep consuming it because your body's gonna get tired of it. My body got tired of all the fake stuff. So that's when I was like, okay, let me level it up a little bit. I did a little bit of raw. And I'm like, okay, this is not bad. But then it got me wanting to cook because I was like, ooh, I want some spaghetti or ooh. But the thing is, anything that I want in meat form, I just substituted with mushrooms. So mushrooms is what I would use for meat.
And that is where I was not good. I could not get mushrooms to taste like if I go to a vegan store and get food from them. The mushrooms that they use to make the meat still taste good. So
It's
I couldn't get
It's
it
the
cooked right.
seasoning. It's the seasoning. It's all about the seasoning and how you marinate it. So you got to think of mushroom like a sponge. It's going to soak up whatever flavor you're going to give it to it. So if you're cooking fried chicken and you batter it, and then you got your liquid, you got your wet, and you go back to your dry again, and then you fry it. You do the same thing with your mushrooms. You treat it
Gotcha.
just as if it's your chicken.
One of the things that I can definitely say is kind of consistent is you're very lean. Where before, and I don't know if you remember me saying this when you first started like going hard, you was working out hard, and I'm like, nothing like, what are you going to work out? But to be honest, you recently posted your before and after. When you see it side by side, you can see that, because to me, you already looked like you look now at that time. But when you put the side by side together, you can see the overall changes, even in your skin.
Man, if it amazes myself because I even go back and look at my picture. I'm like, dang, I look totally different. Like when I got around my family who hasn't seen me in like years from my sister's wedding. Oh my gosh, it was like, oh my God, you look so different. I'm like, I know, don't I scare my own self sometimes. And then I'm like, what did you do? I was like, well, basically, I just watched what I ate, but I didn't at the time had a car because when it hit in 2020, it took a lot out of us. The pandemic really hit us hard, so we had to work so hard to kind of gain back. So with 3 years without having a car, I biked and walked everywhere, and that weight just went down quickly.
So I can tell you another thing that I don't think people realize. I was fueled so much better for my workouts with eating clean. So I'll give you an example. If I just woke up and didn't eat anything, I would chug a water, and I would try to get this down. When someone told me, and I'm gonna ask you, that was bad. I would try to get this much water down, like in a couple hours, and someone told me not to do that.
Mm-mm. Well, that's a problem that we think that when we say we need to hydrate ourselves, we think we're just supposed to drink water. It's actually the opposite. You want to eat your water. So you want to consume H3O, which is what is in your fruit, which is
Okay.
more of a thicker water that's going to keep you more hydrated. Because if you're consuming so much water, that's telling your body you're dehydrated, correct? If you got to keep drinking so much.
Right.
So the more you drink, you're just flooding your body out.
So in my head, I was drinking it to hydrate before I worked out hard. And someone, who was it? And it was someone who was vegan. Oh no, I was watching Dick Gregory. I was watching a video with Dick Gregory. That's what it was. And he was talking about all the misconceptions that we have as human beings with our, I forgot the word he used, but it was like a fascination, addiction to food type of thing. And even something as natural as water is not the best natural source for us to have for water. Why is that though? If this is pure water, supposedly, why is that?
Well, if it's in a bottle, it ain't really pure. And then if it didn't come from what the best type of kind of, it's still bottle, but the best kind of somewhat of an option of bottled water is spring water. And then if you want real water, you got to go out to the spring and get it yourself.
Get it.
That's what he's saying, how the best water you want to consume is actually from nature, for it alkalines itself by going through the process of hitting the rocks and going through the dirt. It's cleaning itself. So it's natural alkaline water.
Okay, so this is not natural alkaline water. This is just saying it's alkaline, and it's just and then it's put in the bottle, and it now brings, it's not as dirty as faucet water, but it's now contaminated water.
I'm gonna hit you with a little fun fact. Most of your bottled water is actually tap water. People do experiments with taking I think like a metal rod, and they'll put it in different waters to test it and see how much metal is in it. But a lot of times your bottled water is tap water, just with a label on it.
Okay. So from a fruit perspective, what would be, in your opinion, the top 3 hydrating fruits?
Oh man, I'm gonna hit you with my favorite. Watermelon is my first one. Honeydew is my second one. I think anything in the melon family. I got a lot of inspiration from Yaki Awaken, and then Dr. Sebi, and then all them. They kind of got me started into this journey when I started researching a lot of what they said. But one person goes this way, one person goes that way. You take information from each person and then see what works best for you. And that's basically how I applied it to. But they mentioned a lot about melons. Melons are very hydrating. Mangoes, papaya, anything in that tropical fruit. Coconut has so many essential, healing properties, from the meat, from the water, how it can go into milk, from the shell. Like, you can use coconut in so many ways.
Right. So at this particular point of your journey, do you just stick to the fruits, the nuts, the beans, or do you do, well, you said you use the mushrooms. You don't consume anything that's non-vegan. All right. So I want to ask you this, and I got to be honest, because I told you this. I always felt a lot of people who went vegan looked old. So if you and some other people, it doesn't seem to be that way. So is it anything else that you supplement, or just everything is what you eat?
Everything is just what I eat. I love animals so much that I like to study them. So I like watching squirrels, and I'm like, you got this animal that is so agile and can jump trees, dodge traffic, but only really you see them consume is really nuts. So I was like, let me try to see how that goes. So I literally went a whole month of really just eating mainly nuts, fruits, and vegetables. I didn't even touch mushrooms like that. And then doing that, I was like, wow, I have so much energy. Then I'm packing on muscle mass while I'm working out. Like, I feel even stronger. I was like, you can learn a lot from animals. Like having my rabbit, she teaches me to eat more lettuce, eat more greens. Like, it's amazing that how much you can learn from animals when you just watch them.
Well, that's one of the things I love about keeping animals, period. Like, I tell people, like, when they think that I do amazing things with my animals, it's a relationship. I watch them, they watch me. I learned that they are really good thinking people. I mean, animals, they think like people.
You're
like,
right. They people. Their
minds work just like ours do, and so I totally agree with you. And another thing that you said, and we always bypass this, and this is stuff that sometimes people just don't want to hear. We look at the monkeys, we look at apes, which one of the biggest, strongest animals on earth. And that's all they really eat.
You
grass.
got your oldest animal, I think is what your tortoise or your turtle. The oldest is the turtle. The tallest is a giraffe. The strongest is a gorilla. But yet they all eat plants. But yet you're worried about their protein, but they all eat plants. So I think the P for protein actually means plant.
Plants. So where do you think, like, as people, the meat came in? Because if you go back and you look way back in the day, like between Homo sapien, I mean Homo erectus and Homo sapien, a lot of those humans back then ate natural foods too. Where did the screw up come? Like, where did this requirement to have meat or you should have meat for protein come from?
Indoctrination,
Mm.
colonization, all that is taught. Because if you were never thinking of it as back as you had a baby, but you
Mhm.
never taught this baby anything about meat, not one thing about meat, do you really think they're going to be thinking about eating it? No, they're only going to eat it because you told them about it and you
Right.
showed them what it is. 9 times out of 10, if you put a baby, they always do this analogy. You put a baby in a crib and you put a knife over here, and a rabbit, and then you put an apple over here. You think the baby is going to try to kill the rabbit? No, they're going to hug the rabbit and go eat that apple.
Right.
You're naturally designed and gravitate to eating fruit and vegetables, but you're taught about this word protein that is so good for you that you got to eat your meat. You go eat your meat, eat your meat, eat your meat, eat your meat in the food program and pyramid and all that. It's indoctrination. That's all I can say is.
Have you ever went to a doctor and they told you was deficient of something since you've been vegan?
I've been vegan 8 years and maybe only been to the doctor one time or like maybe twice when I get like the stomach virus. That's one thing no matter how hard I try to, boost my system up, when I'm around people who have stomach virus and have it really bad, I catch it because I guess it triggers my gut or hit my gut. But I've learned to fight it now with this thing called like a T-bomb.
Okay.
But it's more like I call it like a flu bomb. And then, but I really don't go to the doctors unless I emergency have to. But every time I do, my levels are good. Like, oh, your levels are good. You're healthy. There's nothing wrong with you. I'm like, really? So you gonna tell me I could have healed this on my own? So ain't nothing wrong with me. So I wasted all this money trying to come to this hospital.
So wait a minute. When is your husband vegan too?
No, he is more so, I would say he still eats, the normal way, but less consumption of meat and very, very less consumption of dairy. So I've, impacted him to eat better, but eventually on his own. I'm one of those people that I don't want to tell you anything that's going to harm you. I'm all about, looking out for the best of people. So
Right.
what I give you the information, what you do with that's on you. But now you hear it, it's in your ear. What are you gonna, are you gonna continue doing that? Or are you gonna be like, maybe I do need to make a little adjustments?
So do you cook for him and
No,
do
baby. He
that was
cooks his own food.
because I said that to my husband. I will tell you, out of those 30 days, they had to kind of like some of them days eat what I ate.
Mhm.
Situation. But that for me is the other hard part. I think that if I didn't have to cook for him and Michael, and it was just, this is the food in the house, it would be so much easier because the temptation come when, okay, let me cook their food, and then my food is over there.
See, what I used to do was, well, when I cook food for me, I cook some that he can have some too. Because 9 times 10, he's gonna eat it because it tastes that good. So, but if it's something that he needs help with, like when it comes to seasoning, I help him season something, but I'm not cooking it for him. And he has his own pots that is a certain color, just so I don't, because when I say I get food poison very easy. That's why I don't really eat out anymore. I just cook at home. I don't have a social life where I go eat with family and friends because I always get food poisoning because of how people say they prepare food. You think kitchens are clean, but they're not as clean as you think they are.
Well, especially for you being vegan, even if they making your vegan meal, but cooking it or preparing it the same places they cook the other food, that little bit of microorganism that comes to you will make you sick, where somebody else, may not. But your
And people are like,
body,
oh, well, it's just a little bit. But I'm like, yeah, but when you have not done this for like so long, that little bit can, do a little damage, more damage than you think. So, and I'd rather not take that risk.
So where do you, let's say if you didn't have the experience that you have, what are the best places like to go, whether it's on YouTube? Because YouTube, you got to be careful because you get them people who are kind of a little fanatical sometimes. But whether it's on YouTube or if it's a book that you read, what are the best tools? Dr. Sebi, I watched all of his documentaries. He's one of the reasons why I got stuck on sea moss. And that's the one thing that I always say, I think sea moss helped me stay young. I think sea moss helped me not to feel 50. I don't care what nobody say. Like
Most of your sea foods and stuff like that, it's not shellfish, not your meat. I'm talking about your vegetables that
I
come
love
out.
crabs.
But like a lot of your stuff that comes out, like your seaweed and all that type of algae and stuff, that is really has a lot more minerals that your body needs than you think. You're mainly water, so it's coming out of nothing but pure nature's water. So of course it's gonna heal your body in miraculous ways.
So we go fishing all the time, and where we go fishing sometimes it's a lot of seaweed. Is that healthy to take that seaweed, bring it home, maybe boil it or something? And
I'm not sure. The way these waters are now and how humans have contaminated so much waters, I wouldn't even touch it. I wouldn't even touch the fish that come out the water because 9 times 10 you're eating parasites and plastic. I'm just being real.
oh
But
no, I show videos of me cutting open the food that I feed my lizards. And what we find in those fish bellies, like I don't even post all of it. Like you find needles, you find the hooks that I guess maybe the fish might have taken from somebody else but didn't get caught. You find a lot of seashells, especially in catfish. Catfish, I mean, I'm talking about wads of seashells in the bigger catfish. You find bottles, like little drink bottles and stuff like that. It's amazing what you find in the belly of a fish that you cut open yourself. I'm not gonna lie, I had no clue.
no, ma'am.
And that's the thing. So although I think catfish cooked right tastes good, when you see it, it's hard to eat it. So now like the catfish is like equivalent to what what's the other fish the tilapia. Like we don't eat tilapia. So the catfish is like tilapia to me because I see what's in their bellies, but it's perfect for my lizards.
That's what got me to so you know how we're programmed to do certain ways, commercials, so it makes you want to go eat it. So what I did was I literally reprogrammed myself by watching all of the animal tortures of what they do to them to get the food products. So now when I look at a burger, I don't look at it as that's me. I see what of the process of what they have done. So you have to literally, sometimes you got to go through that pain and crying. And like, I always had this quote, we say we love animals, but what makes those any different?
Right.
If it has a heartbeat,
and like
what
even
makes it any different?
I struggle to feed rats because I breed rats. So I struggle to feed them to the snakes. Although we know that's, one of the natural things they eat is rodents. I struggle.
Me both. I'm like,
and like I mean, literally, like I tell the story of the one time when I had to feed off the first one because she was getting old or whatever. I put her in with the boa. And boas hit hard and quick. I cried so hard, Michael went in there and got that rat. I couldn't believe it. I was like, he was like, yeah, ma, I got it.
Man, keeping snakes have taught me to, respect that they needed. I always look, hey, they needed to survive. They only needed to survive. So mommy only got to go through this because you need it. But me, on the other hand, I'm like, do I need it to survive? No, I really don't. So that's why I'm like, I go based off of what they naturally are designed to eat. So if that's what they're naturally meant to eat, then I'm sorry, I got to sacrifice my pure love for animals and give this rat to this snake.
What do you think is your greatest benefit? Like you as the individual, like if you look at yourself 10 years ago and look at how you feel now, what are some things that you can clearly see that is attributed to your changing in your diet?
I was supposed to be diagnosed I was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism. So they were going to put me on medicine. It was going to make me blow up. They gave me birth control medicine, had an allergic reaction to that, which made it hard for me to have menstrual cycles. Me changing my diet literally made me reverse having hyperthyroidism, made me have regular cycles to where I can track it to the day, to the time, to when it comes on. And also to never be in this size. I've never been this size my whole entire life. I've never seen a size 4 or a 6. I'm like, what is that?
See, even when you say that, you before 2 years, 3 years ago when I met you was already on size 4 or 6 to me. And so when
you, but a few years ago, I was pushing like when I like in the midst of, I would say like 3-4 years ago, I think I was like 185, almost pushing 200 pounds. I was like, and me being very athletic, I played every sport that you could think of in school. Every sport a female could play in high school, I played except for field hockey because I was like, I'm not getting hit by no stick. But I was very athletic. So for me to see myself get to that state, I was like, oh no, I can't do this. So I started working out again. And I've loved working out because I love the feeling of weights and that adrenaline. I'm like, ooh, that burning because it hurts for a minute, but it feels good. And then the results is the bigger point too for me. So I'm like, yeah, I had to make some changes. And then but being that size made me really had to do a little reflection and looking at myself in the mirror because I wasn't happy with myself. I wasn't. And women, we always have issues with confidence, whether it's society throwing something at us or us internally. And me internally, I wasn't happy.
Do you follow Tabitha Brown?
I got some inspiration from her too when I first started my journey. Those are a lot of the influential people that made an impact on me when I started.
She recently mentioned that she gained the weight, but I'm like, how did she gain weight? And she was vegan, and she responded, I ate too much of it. So she also cooks. Like, she'll make like use the different sauces and stuff like that. She makes a lot of natural sauces and stuff like that. So let's use you for example. How do you gain weight from eating vegan? Like, can you eat too much fruit?
So vegan, most of your stuff is vegan. You have grains that are vegan. Your beans are vegan. Those are natural fats, and that can pack on that extra weight. So if you're eating a lot of cooked food, you got to think your oil, so that's going to add more weight. So those eating so much of that, of course, can make you pack on. Eating a lot of, if you consume too much sometimes, of course you can gain weight, but you can never kind of overdo it on fruits. I don't really care what most people say. Like, oh yeah, it is a limit. No, it really isn't. You listen to your body. So if your body tells you need 8 bananas right now, you better eat them 8 bananas.
Got you. So this is good information. What would you say to, like, what is your day like when you get up? We talk about you normally don't eat breakfast, or you don't eat breakfast. Do you work out in the morning though? Like, can you work out?
I'm gonna work out at night. So, because I mainly get up in the morning, I start my day of volunteer services. I don't like the word work, but my day of volunteering services, and then from there, I'll be like right before I go to bed, about an hour or two before I go to bed. That's when I work out because I feel like my body is already in that. Just getting off. So you still ain't got that adrenaline of that. You still being that quote unquote work.
Mm-hmm.
But so I just keep that adrenaline going and work out, and then take a shower, and then wind down and hit the bed. But normally when I wake up, I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning
Okay.
every day like clockwork. And then I normally won't eat anything until about 11 o'clock.
So between 6 and 11, you're drinking water, or like
Sometimes I
how are
won't.
you?
Sometimes I won't even drink a cup of water. I'll just get up and won't consume nothing. So that'll be like an intermediate fast. So if I won't eat anything after 6 o'clock then the previous day, and I won't eat anything until about 11 o'clock the next day,
Mhm.
that's me intermediate fasting. So therefore, I'm breaking my fast by having my first cup of water at 11 o'clock before I eat.
Okay. And you don't get hungry after 6 o'clock.
I'm not a hungry. No, I don't really get hungry, and I still consume some, cannabis from time to time. But I'm
Right.
not really, I don't get hungry all the time. When
Okay.
you doing intermediate fasting and you start to like sometimes your body isn't really hungry; it's mostly thirsty.
Okay. So
So
that's
what
what.
you're thinking is a hunger pain it could be your body digesting and you're really thirsty, so you need to kind of consume some liquid to kind of help it move, what it needs to out your system.
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't know that when you're consuming like meat and stuff, that sits in your bellies for like maybe 3 days. So every day you eat it, you're backing up 3 days, 3 days, 3 days.
See this.
Hmm.
When you listen to that, like it's so disgusting that you should never want to eat it. You know what I mean? Like it really is disgusting. And I do think that like people it's so many more people who are vegan today, and a lot of people. I'm not going to say mastered it, but a lot of people are doing it really, really well. I'm not saying that they don't have challenges or whatever.
Yeah, there is no such thing of anything perfect in this. And then a lot of people hate that term vegan because that means, anything animal product you don't consume. That means vegan materials. Like animal materials, animal hair products. I don't really do anything that's any cruelty towards animal or has anything animal product in it. So like, but then some people like the term plant-based. Like it's always a controversy between the terminology and stuff. It's whatever works for me. I'm a naturist. I just eat and derive anything that has to do with nature. That's what I deal with.
So, and you normally like you make a lot of your own stuff, like so you create some of your food. You actually garden some of your food. But some of it you can do it in the house, right? Like you can,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I have an apartment, so I make it work in my little apartment, and I mainly like for like I love peanut butter, but peanuts ain't all that good for you, so they say. But
Okay. But it's a
I
nut.
do, huh?
But it's a nut, right? So it's
But
quote.
is it really a natural nut?
Okay, got you. Because we talked about the peanut. I got you. I got you.
Uh-huh.
Right.
But like, is it really a natural nut? That's a question we gotta kind of ask sometimes. Like, where did the peanut? Because who discovered what was it discovered or invented the peanut?
Got you. But the fact that it's called the peanut, it's probably a good.
But you can easily make peanut butter by just taking roasted nuts and put it in a food processor and blend it until it turns into butter. That's how easy people can, make stuff. And I always hear the excuse, well, I don't have the time. Like, but you have time to watch your favorite TV show, but you have time to sit down and read a book. The same time you have time to sit down and do things that aren't productive for you life wise, you can easily take that time in 30 minutes to your day and just prep you some food up. They kind of make you, your pantry full. So if you are having hard times, you can easily, hey, I did make some of that stuff in the cabinet. Let me go ahead and grab that.
Right. Right. And you can eat more, more often between that 11 and 6 o'clock time.
Don't get it twisted. Being vegan, I eat a lot of food. I eat a lot. You're like, dang, you so small. How you still eating? Because when you're eating light, you can consume more. Your body, will consume more. Dinosaur who ate mainly, or giraffe who eats mainly plants and stuff, they consume a lot, but they're still big and strong creatures.
Right. I mean, I absolutely like want, and I keep trying. So I was even telling me, my husband was talking about this the other day. That's how I thought about bringing you on as well, because we have all kinds of. One of the things that I've been blessed with is that my old employees used to give me all kinds of cool crap. So I got all kinds of cool ninjas and food processors of different sizes. Like I actually like making the food. Like I like doing it. It allows me to be creative. Like even if I'm just juicing something, just
Yes,
what it's going to
it's
taste
so
like.
many varieties, so many varieties.
So I do like that part. I think for me and a lot of other people, it is that not discipline, more of being bored, because it's not like I know. I'll say, and I said this to say this to Ray one day, because I used to get on Ray all the time about vegan. But when I tried it, I could not lie. There was a total difference of feeling from my head to my feet. And especially when you're talking about, hypothyroidism, that's something that you can suffer from when you have a hysterectomy, because you get hyper and you can also have the reverse, so you can go up and down in weight. People see it. People will see, like, in 30 days, I will look totally different in the face if I'm eating clean, not necessarily always vegan, but more clean eating. I'm not eating a lot of meats. I'm consuming, water, which I just like it. I don't know. I guess I'll eat more fruits. It's good to know that I can get water from, the water I need from pineapples and stuff like that as well. I think it's more of, and it's not even a going out thing, because I can go out with my husband and say, I just want a salad. I can do that. I think my biggest thing is you get bored.
It's so, you gotta look at it like this too.
Mm-hmm.
You get bored of eating the regular lifestyle too. You get tired of eating. You get tired of eating fast food. You get tired of eating burgers. What we're gonna have for night? If you got to sit there and ponder for 5-10 minutes what you're gonna eat, you're bored of eating the same stuff. So it's the thing is, you have to. We all hate to admit, but we like routine, and it takes 30 days to kind of break a habit. So they say, but I agree. It kind of does take 30 days to break a habit, but it also creates a new one. So if every month you're pushing to create a new habit and break an old, eventually you're going to wean the old out and will not get tired of the new. Because like I said, there's way more fruits and vegetables on this planet than it is meat options. So there's more variety. There's so much you can do. It's just people just feel like you don't have meat no more. So you lose the creativity of, how can I prepare this plant in front of me? Prepare it the same way you'll cook a meat, and I bet it tastes just as good.
Okay. That's a good way of thinking it. Like you said about the season. So if you took greens and put a rotisserie seasoning on it, it's the same thing.
Because a lot of times the food you're eating, if you ate a piece of chicken plain, you is not gonna eat that. You like, oh, give me some salt, some pepper. It's because you like the seasoning. It's the flavor of the seasoning that draws you to it. I could put that on a black bean burger, and you're like, dang, this burger tastes like meat. It's the seasoning that you're enjoying. It's not the actual food.
Got you. You just said a black bean burger.
Yeah.
How do you prepare that? Cooking the beans like you would normally cook them, or you are frying them, or how are you doing that?
So you can do organic black beans in a can. You drain them, rinse them. I do diced mushrooms. Then I'll add diced green peppers, onions. You'll mash the black beans. If you want to use a binding agent, I would use like a very like chickpea flour. Add your seasoning, and then just bind it, and then you'll sear it in the pan with either some like grapeseed oil or olive oil, and then pan sear it on the other side. Sometimes you can stick it in the oven to kind of let it firm up a little bit, and voila, simple. When I say people spend, you're like, oh, I gotta make this pot roast. It will take about 3 hours or 4 hours for, man, my food would be done in like 10-15 minutes. So for a woman who is a single mother and has a family and wanted to make their family meals fast, vegan food is quick.
Okay.
Very quick. But if you kind of prep up it like a little bit in advance, it is a lot of chopping. It is a lot of juicing. Is a lot of making your
for me.
It makes you get more connected into. That's where we have grown to. We're disconnected with food because
Right.
we're not hands on. We even
Right.
eat food with a fork and versus it with your hands. You can't really feel the texture of food hit your mouth with a fork in your hand. All you feel is the metal. So you really don't know how the food tastes before you even got a chance to put it in your mouth because your hands can tell you how it tastes before you even ate it.
Right. That's
Like
true.
when you go eat and grab a mango, you're like, dang, this mango juicy, and your mouth is already watering before it even hits your mouth.
Yeah, I can tell you this. You talked about watermelon. I could literally eat watermelon all day long.
I love watermelon, and that when it's watermelon season, I go crazy.
Literally do that all day long. I love ice as well. So if like it has to be a certain kind of ice, but like when it's crushed, and if you take like a crushed ice and then crush like strawberries or pineapples or something like that, and then put it on top, I don't know, like stuff like that, I'm still getting like the feeling like I'm eating texture with the ice, like I'm crunching the ice
So
with.
then, why don't you get into smoothie bowls?
I gotta look it up.
Smoothie bowls, because that's how I really got into getting strong on my vegan journey was smoothies. Smoothies was my best friend, and my
Okay.
best friend company was tropical smoothie. When I was living in Florida,
I got one right here. I love tropical smoothie. My
I used to
all-in
hit them up. I used to hit them up 3-4 times a day to where they knew my orders left and right. Like, hey, miss, yep, I'm him. Okay, let me go ahead and get that. But smoothies help you a long ways because you're packing nutrients. And then if you're a texture person, you can make it thick to where it's like ice cream and add like nuts and granola and chia seeds and stuff like that on top and still have your texture, but still have so much more flavor and nutrients.
So yeah, I think that's a good point because first of all, I love tropical smoothie. I love that island green, and I mean I like the detox one. I don't even have to have
Hmm.
the fruity one like the other one. I
And you
like
can
the
easily make that at home.
clearly like that is absolutely true. One of my favorite things to make is a strawberry banana smoothie. Now, what are your opinions on bananas? Because that's another thing. One of the things you get to go into this little new world, and then you think you're doing it all right, and people are like, well, bananas not good for you.
I should just take a deep breath on that one because going into it, you're like, oh, our fruit is good, vegetables good, blah blah blah. But then you start getting into it, you get down deep down the rabbit hole, you start learning, but that's not real. But that's not real. At the end of the day, the motto is as long as you're trying to take an initiative of something that is nature based, that's all that matters.
Okay.
You're a natural being. So if you're trying to resort yourself back to nature by consuming something that is in the natural state,
Mhm.
you're taking the initiative. So we can skip past all those other questions. Is it real? Is it GMO? People are all caught up on those. Oh, pesticides. You got to wash it. You got to grow it. We know our food is contaminated. And if you don't have access to grow it, you have to, deal with what the cars are in front of you. So you have to, at least take the initiative that you're trying.
So in the apartment, where do you grow the food? Like, how do you improvise? What do you grow? What's convenient for you to grow right there in the house?
So I used to collect every avocado seed that I had, and I had like 30 something avocado seeds.
From the
All
food you're actually eating, you keep those
yes.
seeds. So watermelon,
Oh,
take the seeds.
when I say I have so much seed store, I can literally have a crop field of so much stuff and feed a nation because of Everything you eat, I just save. If it's a bell pepper, even if I just got bell pepper seeds from yesterday, I'm saving every bell pepper seed, every seed that I possibly can have. So there should be no reason why people could say, well, we don't have no food. If you're eating food that produces seeds, it's always supposed to be fruitful. You're supposed to be abundance of life. So it naturally is an abundance. So you're always going to be with food.
So look, so this is so I swear, like, and this is a shame because when growing up in like elementary school, the teacher would give you a little pack of seeds and we would put it in the little pot, put the little pot in the window and all. You're telling me the food that I'm eating, I should be taking those seeds, technically putting them in the pot, sticking in the window, and it's going to grow just like the little bag that I get from the store or whatever.
It's a seed. It's a seed. It's a seed.
It's a seed, damn
it. Like you're eating bell peppers have seeds, your cucumbers have seeds. You could easily take a blueberry, smash it, throw it right in the ground, and it'll produce a blueberry vine and a tree if you pay attention to it. Same thing with strawberries. The seeds are on the outside, so all you gotta do is smash it, throw it in the ground, and it'll help do its thing. Nature, she's smart about how she gave you everything that you need to where you would never need nothing else. But society has made you forget that you need that and you think you need other things. Like there's nothing natural about eating meat. If you can't eat it with your bare hands, if you can't hunt that down like that cheetah does or that lion does to get their food, and they work hard to get their food and they don't waste not one part or pick out what parts they want to eat, what makes you think you're designed to do that? Oh, because you have access to it in the store and you have a knife and a fork and you have a stove, it's better.
Even when you go and you travel to other countries, and me and my husband always talk about that, like you feel so much better when you're eating their fruit, when you're drinking their fruit juice.
Because our corporation, U.S., don't care really about their people. They care about the destruction of their people and the money that they can get out of you and your energy. That's the main money. You are money yourself. You make money regardless because you have skill. So you're always, as long as you got skill, you got money. So it's your energy that they want. I'm going to drain you here, make you so tired, make you so weak, make you so sick. Now, when you're ready to try to have life and enjoy life, it's too late.
Right. So before we started the show, before we end, I do want to, if you don't mind sharing what catapulted you into this with the your dad's health declining, and then you're saying what caused him to decline. And can you just tell that so the audience can hear, like, what made you so focused on this journey?
Researching mainly. The favorite word that everyone hates, and everyone can agree they hate that word, is cancer. So if we all can agree on that, then how come we can't agree on that food causes cancer?
So when people say food causes cancer, just one example. We know that we talked about the mucus. I heard Dr. Sebi talk about that a lot of times. Food that causes mucus. So can you just share that so people have a better understanding from someone who knows better than I do?
So a lot of people, so your body needs oxygen, and you know that you can't get nothing good out of something dead, and that would be meat. It's dead, so how is there giving me anything good? If anything, it's giving you parasites and mucus. So disease comes where mucus is built up. Just like Dr. Sebi used to say, if you had mucus in your chest, they used to say, oh, it's bronchitis. Or you had mucus and built up in your kidneys, you have kidney issues, and so forth and so forth. The foods that you're eating that are sustaining a high mucus input is making you sick, and that can cause cancer. And then the chemicals don't make it no better. What we use every day, we thinking the fluoride toothpaste is good. We're thinking that wrapping our food in aluminum foil is good. We're thinking that, oh, that body wash or that shampoo that we bought from the store, that's good. That all has a, leading of effect in that play part of cancer, because your skin is the biggest organ on your body. So it's going to take and absorb anything you give it within a few seconds.
That's one of the first things you learn. My degree was in mortuary science. It's one of the first things one of the most shocking things I learned my first day in clinical microbiology, that your skin was the largest organ. Because you think of your heart, everybody think of the heart. The heart is a muscle. And so like everybody just think, but with the skin, and how many diseases you can get through your skin. So like, I'll give you an example. A man popping a pimple just on his chin can cause him to get an abscess and die, and people don't realize that.
So a pimple on your face is a warning sign. It's like, uh-oh, your body's trying to release some type of toxin out. It's something in it. It's trying to get out. So it does it by forming a bump. And then we go to pop that. It literally is like acid you just pushed out of your skin. So now it can leak back in and go back down the bloodstream. It can go into different other places, and you touching it. And then some people don't touch other. Yeah. Those are just warning signs that your body is like, uh-oh, I'm not doing something right. But we don't pay attention to that. We're just like, oh, it's just maybe, just maybe the dust in the air, or, oh, it's allergies. We always blame things on the little stuff, but never question, what did I eat today that could have caused me, or have I been, overdoing it? I need to take a break. People think that you going a day without food is like, oh, I'm going to starve to death. I'm going to die. Like, your body actually needs a break from time to time. Same way you need a break from getting off your feet and being on your feet all day, your body needs a break from eating all day.
And then when you talk about going back to how what we eat causes cancer, like, what did you learn that the way that we eat now, in the bad, on the unfavorable side of how we eat, how most Americans eat, how that ties into this horrible disease called cancer?
I learned about the lymphatic system. I had learned about how, basically what we eat is mainly sugar, oil, dairy, and meat. Those are your top four. And then you got your bread and your starch. It's still considered sugar. But those are your top four things that's mainly in every single food aspect that you eat, other than the chemicals that they add to it. So if I'm eating this every day, and I'm, you said I'm sick, but you're giving me medicine for the sickness, but I'm still consuming this food, why am I not getting better? We always ask ourselves, well, why am I not getting better? I'm on medicine, but you're still eating the same way. We never think about, is it what I'm, could I, maybe change what I'm eating? Maybe that might help it. We think just because the doctor say, oh, take this pill, this gonna help you feel better. He didn't tell you that, oh, if you stop eating this, or, cut back on this, what are you consuming every day? We never question ourselves on any of that, because you only enjoy food for like maybe 5 minutes, or not even that. Right. So you forget just that fast how much that has affected your system in that little bit of time.
That was another thing in that episode I was watching with Dick Gregory. He was saying how he was telling his doctors, he was explaining to people how he doesn't eat meat, and how we got this false conception that we needed for protein and this, that, and the other. And someone said to him, well, what did your doctor say? He said, I don't know. I don't talk to him. My doctor, I ain't been to the doctor in I don't know how many years, and he's been dead for like 20 years. Like, so I've outlived my doctor. What am I going to talk to him about when it comes to my particular health? But when I think about Dr. Sebi, because he would show you at his age, watching a video of him literally jump straight from off the floor onto the table, and no bad knees, no joint issues or anything like that. What do, in your belief, happened to Dr. Sebi? Because his family is saying that he definitely wasn't killed. But is it a possibility that because when they put him in prison and then they changed his diet maybe, or starved him to death? Like, what happened? What do you think I know nobody knows, but what do you think happened? Because I'm going to tell you this, that man wasn't unhealthy. mean, I wasn't
In my
inclined to do it.
conception of what happens to people that spreads too much knowledge. That's why I'm not one to really speak to so much people socially, like media wise, is because if you start reaching too many people and making them change so much, you are an influencer, you're a leader. So people want to follow you like a messiah. So if you're into religion, they did the same thing with Jesus. They can do the same thing with anyone like Tupac, Dr. Sebi, or anyone else who Malcolm X, anyone who is a leader who are willing to lead their people into the right direction of waking up out of this system of corruption.
So many. That's true. Yeah, because that's my belief. I know that the family wants to stay positive, or maybe they just don't want to say to protect themselves. But you cannot convince me this man got sick and died. Like they're not naturally sick and died at all, especially so quickly. You know, like we know he was a very healthy person, and I was reading a story. I guess he had multiple wives, and I guess one of the second wives had said, "There's no way in the world that he, out of anybody, died from any illness, unless he was totally placed in a place where he was neglected with the wrong type of temperatures, or things that really can defy a body."
Or someone internally could have set him up. There's so many questions we ask, but they're never going to tell you the truth because they're only going to tell you what they want you. So they just want to jeopardize the character's name. So everyone plays a role every day, and when you leave here, it's what they say goes. So if they say this happened to him, everybody gonna run with it. But do you really know?
Yeah,
Is that true?
You can't convince me of that one. And then I was a big Nipsey Hussle fan. So when Nipsey died, I'm like, they didn't kill Nipsey too. Like so, and
then Dick Gregory passed away. I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, I was like, dang, all these influence. And then they got Rashad Jamal locked up. All these influencers that are very powerful movers and waking up you consciously, because like I said, when you start to unplug yourself everyone is hooked up. You got to think of yourself as a computer, and you're hooked up to these million different networks, the network of food, the network of medicine, the network of beauty, the network of all these different plugs. When you start to slowly start pulling each plug and waking yourself up, it's a problem. Why is it a problem to be, aware to all the corruption and be positive and move with the word of love? That's why when I speak to people, I'll be like, how you doing, love? I never address you as sir or ma'am. Like, not everybody likes that classification, but if we all address each other with love, that's the frequency we all need to, be vibrating on. It would be not as much corruption, and it wouldn't be worrying about all these wars and craziness of that ain't got nothing to do with us at the end of the day as a people.
So are you originally from Alabama?
Oh no, I'm from VA all day.
Because you give me like the whole New Jersey, Philadelphia, PA vibe, more of
I get that. When we first moved down here, oh my goodness. And it amazes me, like when you move to different places, how people can tell that you're not from here. And they can pick up on your energy. So I'm like, oh, you're not from here. Where are you from? I'm like, from Virginia. I can tell because you talk differently. I was like, yeah, VA all day. I read my home to the day I died. But I'm born and raised. Williamsburg is where I was born and raised at, but I mainly lived in Hampton for a long time.
Okay, yeah, I get you more on this side because this is where more of not saying that Alabama don't have conscious people, but like on this
they have conscious people, but they have conscious people to me more like get out. When I say I have nothing against the South, if anything, the South teaches you a lot about the cruelty your people as a nation has faced and how much hidden secrets and digging a rabbit hole you're going to keep going down, that it makes you not want to leave here, it makes you want to fight for the people who had to, die on this land. So that's the main thing now I like about Alabama is the the hospitality. But behind every smile, there's a little bit of wickedness sometimes too.
Okay. What led you to Alabama from Virginia?
Pandemic. We went from Virginia to Florida, and we were in Florida, and then when the big old pandemic occurred and everything got shut down, it was like I had to pack up, and we ended up moving to Alabama.
Was it for work?
It was more so for not being able, like, we lost a lot. We lost it all. We lost cars.
You had a lot going on, even with the landlord at that particular time, and everything. Was that still in Virginia?
That was in Florida. We lost the apartment. We lost our car. We lost a lot because we were out of work for 2 to 3 months, and you out of work, and that's all you know, because you shutting down. People can't really take and pay their bills, and then people have to move in with family members until they can get back on their feet, and that's what happened with us.
It's still tough. Like, people are still, like, me and my husband was saying this, people ask like every day, can I borrow this? Can I have this? Can I have that? If we lent out every little dime we had, because everybody has their own, your struggle may not be my struggle, but we have to live the way we live so we don't, ever struggle. So we always give it. Who's going to be there for us? We live in a world now today that there's very few people, unless you're one of the rich, that's sitting on the hall. You know what I mean? Like, literally sitting on the hall.
I feel like it's the issue of, we as a whole now need to go back to the word of community. We are forgetting about family, and we're forgetting about community. Everybody needs to put their money together, buy plots of land, build, and everyone is together and can grow together. So you don't have to worry about the outside and depending on so much of the system. If you have everything at home and you got your family, you don't need phones and technology. What you need that for? If your family, everyone around you is there.
Right.
Like, we're so stuck on isolation and separating. I want to live here and I want to live there. That's the problem we run into as a nation. That's why it's so much of a struggle, and people are dependent on other people. But if we just come together, we won't be depending if we are already there.
Yeah, we definitely be coexisting, because I can tell you, like, I just think, and that's different for us because, I don't know. I just see a lot of people struggling, even still today, even outside the pandemic. And I just think we never recovered. Yeah, we never really recovered from it. I think the economy alone right now, like I was telling, talking to you, like, even about fruits, but you had a good point. My husband loved the farmers markets, by the way. That's he only gets watermelon from farmers market. He's really big on it. If it don't have seeds, we can't eat it. Although he's not, vegan, but he's from the South. So
that's a good philosophy to stick to. If it don't have seeds, don't eat it.
So that's a good point. Now, to wrap this up, if there was 3 things that you can say to someone like myself who really wants to hit it hard. For me, it's more of, I can tell you overall, I felt so better. I am not a person who takes supplemental hormones. I never wanted to do that, just because we do have the cancer gene in my family, and it's estrogen fed. So I knew that I wasn't going to be one to take hormones. I was going to learn how to make myself feel good without them, which I do really, really well. Like, even people in my groups, my Cermino groups, they'd be like, how can you still work out and you don't? I don't eat perfectly, but I do eat good. You know what I mean? I would love to go back to eating like I did that. Actually, it was more than 30 days. It was 45 days. So I did 30. 2 off because I had bumped in a row, and then I did get back on for the remaining 13. So it was 45 days total. And I felt the best. So what would you say to me? Because I'm committed mentally. The struggle is what we talked about before the show. What I'm used to, I think I give into, not my mind, because my mind say, Nicole, you don't need that shit. It really do. Like, you saw how you felt.
You are only 10% of yourself. The rest of your body is not you. Those are the people that came before you. So when you are debating on something, listen to that voice because they're telling you what you need to do. Like, so if you know you get ready to go grab that chicken, you're like, you start to question, oh, that cost is too high. I don't really want this, or what am I going to do with that? Then it's not meant for you to have.
Right. So when I hang up, so when we get off of here now, this is another thing, because sometimes you'll say, or a person will say, I'm going to start it tomorrow. And we had this conversation. I'm motivated. It's definitely after 6 o'clock. I still have to drink my water though. I can't up tonight. I gotta drink my water. But I start now. And so would you be my mentor? Like if I or not my like if I'm falling and hey,
I'm here wherever you need love. Whatever you need, I'm here. I'm like a type of person if somebody just like, hey, I need a little pick me up. What can I do today to help me get through today? I'm like, okay, what do you have access to? What is your work schedule like? Okay, what time, like how much time do you have to, dedicate to cooking something or prepping something? Like, let me know what your schedule is, then I can be like, okay, if I were you in that type of situation, I'm gonna be like, let me get a smoothie, make you some trail mix, keep you stuff with you. I'm a firm believer. We have a pocketbook and a purse for a reason. Carry you some snacks.
Okay.
Carry you some snacks.
So whatever. And now that's the other thing. In the grocery store, where do you shop? Do you shop? I know you said you go to the farmer's market, but if you're going to the grocery store, how can you confirm this is definitely vegan?
By reading the ingredients and not buying nothing new. I like to cook new things, but not with new stuff.
Gotcha.
So I'm a firm believer of stick to your staples of what you're normally used to. But if you're trying to convert, if you're used to butter, switch to the vegan butter. If you're used to dairy milk, switch to vegan milk or make it yourself. There's so many. There's coconut, almond, cashews. There's so many different rice milk, oat milk. There's so many different options. You don't really have to have dairy. But when I shop, I'm mainly in the produce section.
Almond milk.
Soy. You said soy almond milk.
I like silk almond. Silk almond milk.
You just gotta be careful with you just gotta be careful with the pre-made milks. Is they add a lot of gums to it and a lot of extra stuff, and sugar content level might be high. So there's certain things, and then a lot of people don't know white sugar is not vegan.
Oh yeah, you learn. That's one thing you learn from traveling, because like in Jamaica, sugar is poison. Like sugar is like the scum of the earth.
It's like another form of crack, and it's another drug. Literally.
Sugar is like the scum of the earth in somewhere like Jamaica, but marijuana is not. And I'm gonna give you an example. They give their children tea before church, marijuana tea before church to keep them focused on the word. But if you say give that child a lollipop, like it's that was what probably.
I can see why on the marijuana tea and stuff like that, because it's a plant and it's naturally
natural over there.
Yeah, it's naturally meant for you to raise your consciousness, spirituality, like being more in tune to what it. So I was told, let's say for instance, if you're smart and you're wise and you smoke, it's just gonna make you even more of a perfect wise version of yourself. Mm-hmm. But if you dumb and you smoke, it's just gonna make you. It's gonna just make you a perfect dumb version. So it just elevates you even more.
You are. I love it. Well, I can tell you, I look forward to this. I'm so glad you can make it happen. I am really rejuvenated in my thought. I'm gonna give it a good run again.
I encourage you.
Week out like, hey.
I encourage you salads, but what people get wrong with salads is you don't build it. They don't build their salads. They just think a lettuce and maybe a couple little toppings and a dressing, that's a salad. No, you gotta pack that bad boy like you making a taco salad. Layers, layers, layers.
Okay.
Same thing. Smoothies, access to fruit, make your own trail mixes, granola bars, stuff like that is easy accessible, especially when you're on the go, but it's gonna keep you full. And then like when you have time to cook, that's when you get into using your mushrooms in different ways and your vegetables. I'm more so like 10% fruits and like 10% vegetables, 5% mushrooms, and then the rest is just fruits and nuts.
See, that's easier for me because I love fruits and nuts. I like beans too. I love,
Being more like 10% vegetable, like beans. I like them too, but sometimes that gas on me liking me.
yes. I love bean too. And I think bean is like a good filler. So like when you talk about salads, like sometimes if I just do like a salad, do some carrots and put beans on it, it makes it
My favorite, I'm gonna give you my little recipe. My favorite type of salad to build is I have my spring mix, I have my black beans, I have some roasted like veggies where it'd be like, or fresh veggie, green peppers and onions. I have some fresh guacamole, some pico de gallo, and that would be it.
Okay.
Because the guacamole is gonna act like your dressing and make it creamy. It's just good.
Do you normally shop at Whole Food stores or you go to regular grocery stores?
I go to what is closest to me. I'm keep it real. I shop at what the Walmart local market and then Publix.
Okay. All right. Well, this has been awesome. Again, and I just so appreciate you. I'm just gonna get you backstage for a minute because I just want to, formally close it out. Then I'll close this out and I'll be right back.
Yes,
everybody, if you have your individual questions for Tinnie, because she won't be able to be in the chat on Saturday, I'll be there. Put your comments in the chat. Send your comments to me. I will forward them to her and get you real answers because I won't have the answers because as you can see, I'm learning just like you are. But I think this topic is more of a general topic now than it's ever been before, especially when it comes to when you talk about cancer, it being tied into cancer. I can tell you when I did the cancer walk last year, you heard a lot of people talking about them going vegan, even as they was doing treatment, like it was recommended, and just some success stories from that. And I said to somebody else before, the worst thing can happen is you feel better, right? Because you can't feel any worse, or you can't get any worse than you are today.
That's the thing. No one can really say for real, and on honesty that me eating fruit made me feel so much worse. Right. Then that means your body, something wrong with your body. You need a detox, so therefore your body can be able to take in that nutrients from the fruit. And then me seeing like my mom, she had breast cancer 3 times. She had ovarian cancer. She had a tumor. She's been through hysterectomy, cysts, strokes, 3, 4 strokes. I can't even name. Like when I say my family comes through like a bad health record, they have a bad health record. Everything that you could think of, diabetes, liver cancer, lung cancer, brain cancer, we don't have it. So I'm like, I'm tired of going to funerals. I want to break the cycle, even though I know eventually we're going to transcend, but I'd rather not transcend so fast from my own hands.
Right. Like we're going to go. We all know that, but can we have the best quality of life?
Yeah. Did you serve your purpose here yet? Or did you just eat yourself to death?
Well, I can say you definitely defy, and it's quite a few people. I just wonder, like, what do some people do differently from the others that, like your skin, everything, just everything about your journey is just wonderful. It's calming. It makes it genuinely like a peaceful thing to do. Sometimes people make a transition or they're trying to elevate themselves in turmoil, like it just seems like
it went from vegan to being natural to going locks to not wearing bras. The same long years of me being vegan, I've been bra free. Same years I've been vegan, I've been natural.
My knees if I do bra free.
So I've coming from researching a lot about cancer and breast cancer, I found that results to a lot of bras.
Oh, use.
And because you're not allowing your boobs to fully circulate, so therefore it's just sitting there. Then eventually it builds up and builds up, and then that's how masses and tissues and all that starts to build, and then you wonder why you have a lump there.
Right.
But and then when you start eating good and working out, your boobs will shrink and tighten
Oh,
up
really?
and
Okay.
tighten up. The stuff that now, as women, we hate to lose the that part in the booty, but
No, not me. I never wanted breasts. Like, listen, I was a third. Look, I tell my sister, and I was telling them the other day, I was a solid 34B, even after children. It wasn't until after my hysterectomy that I really got full. Like, my breasts got big after the hysterectomy.
that's very interesting.
And I never I never was a person who wanted a big butt, and I never was a person who wanted a big breast. I mean, I wanted to be, whipped shape. Oh, but you're shapely. You know what I mean?
Most women wants that nice tone look. It's nice slim, but nice thick, but still has curves.
I never want big breasts. Big breasts make you bigger. I always felt that way. I felt like people, you ever see people who have small legs, but they got big breasts, but because they have big breasts, they look so much bigger than they actually are. So
I had some of that in my family. I'm like, dang, that looked like that hurt.
I swear, if you're watching this right now, my sister Shaw would tell you when she had to size my breast last year for the cancer walk, because she did all of my custom stuff. And she said I was a 40 what? She's like, oh my God. I'm like, oh, this is not okay. And like, to somebody else, you might like, I don't understand people get implants to get bigger breasts. I never wanted that. And then I was a 40C. So I wanted to just pull my hair out. So when I had to put that bra on, I took the picture, and every time I look at that picture, I'm focused on the sides of that bra, and my breast is filling up that bra, and I'm looking like I never need, even
I
after having a baby.
I went from I think a 32D to I think now maybe, I don't know my bra size, but I think I'm at a B now. So literally I dropped down size.
Oh, I'll definitely look forward to that. That might be motivation enough. That right there might be motivation enough. I'm telling you, I never had them. My sisters did. And we joke about that. Like, where did you get these things from? People even asked and thought that I had some type of surgery. No, baby, this is hormone. This is when they take your hormones and just say, wake up and you're not going to have them. This is what happened.
It throws your whole, like, surgery throws your body out of whack because it's not natural. So it throws your body out of whack. So your body is trying to respond in ways and trying to input those chemicals, compounds that's supposed to go to those certain areas, and now it's not there. So now it needs to go somewhere else.
Yep. And that's where it's at, right there in my breast, and probably some in my, in my hips, but the breast thing shocked me, and I couldn't believe it. I kept looking at her, and she was like, "You are 40." I'm like, "It's no way. How do I go from a 34B?" And the funny thing is that we kept talking about how my bras seemed like they was getting small, but you don't think that's possible. And it wasn't until she measured me for that cancer walk in October of last year, because the cancer walk was in November, and she was making that bra for me. And every time I look at that picture, I swear to God, Tinnie, I look straight to the bra. It's a beautiful picture. I'm up on a rock. It's a big background of the San Diego ocean. And all I look at my titties. Like, I can't.
We are always the first ones that want to point out our flaws and something when we're doing this stuff. I'm like, I look at a picture, I'm like, dang, I could have did something different to my hair. like ain't nobody else judging. Like, oh, you look good, but you're always the one to pinpoint something wrong with you.
That's true, but yeah, that's good to know. That is really good to know. All right, guys, so we're gonna give Tinnie her day back, or her evening back, but stay backstage for like 2 minutes, if that. It ain't even gonna be that long, and I'll be right back.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys, that was really cool. I am super, super, like, interested in making this work for me. Because like I said, I can say to anybody else, I can only tell you from my experience, for the time that I was able to do it consistently, I felt so much better. My energy was off the change. And if you ever look at pictures when I'm on and off, you can see it in my face, y'all. Like my face is the first place when I come off of clean eating or green eating. My face is the first place that you see it. And when I go on it, my face is the first place that you see it. And although, I never had skin issues, I can see the swelling in my face when I'm off. So, and everybody will have different individual, success stories or, failures like I did. But I think it's important to have the dialogue about it. Continue to be motivated as a people to eat better, because the truth is that every year there's a new ailment, there's more of an ailment. One of the things that I truly believe clean eating will help is pancreatic cancer. I truly believe that. I believe that when anything that works with your kidneys and your liver, clean eating helps your organs not to overwork themselves. And so therefore your pancreas, who actually support those organs, don't have to overwork itself either. And that's one of the worst cancers to have. As we talk about cancers, we talk a lot about breast cancer, we talk a lot about lung cancer. But let's not forget that pancreatic cancer. That's one of the ones that takes you out here quicker than anything. And so just getting older, you just want to do things differently. Like Tinnie said, we all going to expire one day, but until then, can we live our very best life? So I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And if you have any questions, just shoot them to me. Tinnie is actually on Facebook. So I'm sure that if you have any questions that I can't answer, I'll send it to you. If you want to send her a message, I'm sure she'll respond to you as well. If it's regarding, I'll be trying to flirt or nothing like that. If it's regarding healthy and clean eating. Until then, see you guys later.